The contents of this show are intended for news and educational purposes only. Any products or services presented should not be construed as an endorsement by this station or Tracy Communications. All trademarks and trade names are the individual properties of their respective owners. Welcome to Brandworth TV, America's premier show dedicated to helping businesses grow their brands. A showcase of successful businesses and their leaders, advertising news, tips of the trade, and thought-provoking and entertaining ads. Brandworth TV is brought to you by American Flatbread Frozen Pizza, Fratello's Italian Grill and Homestead Restaurants. Also by Pele, New Hampshire Center for Laser and Medical Aesthetics. Here's our host, Kevin Tracy.
Welcome to the show. If you're interested in business, advertising, marketing, and growing your brand, you're absolutely in the right place. Today's show will feature Pam Fletcher, Director of Marketing in the Neshoba Valley Ski Area, and she's also a 1988 Olympic skier. Our second interview will be with one of New Hampshire's favorite sons, John Clayton. And as always, we're going to have some great TV ads, guerrilla marketing tips, and news from the advertising and marketing world. Are you getting into the holiday spirit? Well, one of my favorite creative teams, Chicago's Draft FCB, is at it again. Kmart's new offering for the holiday is entitled Show Us Your Joe. It's for Joe Boxer Shorts. It was barely aired when the advocacy group called 1 Million Moms launched a social media campaign to pull the ad for TV. They denounced the ad as disgusting, inappropriate, and filthy. By the way, the ad also had plenty of supporters. It had great comments on Twitter with more than 33,000 thumbs up. Let me know what you think of this ad. Here it is.
Shop Your Way members can ring in the holidays with Joe Boxer. Kmart. Get in, get more Christmas.
I think this ad is edgy and funny. Disgusting, filthy, come on. Here's another ad that I came across that I think is disgusting. How can any creative director think that this ad for Baby's Ice Cream is going to help sell product? I can hear them now. Kinda cool, right? Boy, this'll get some attention. This kind of creative is hogwash, and the agency should be ashamed. Watch this if you can without getting grossed out.
There's good reason for my glistening skin, and how I shine, and how my pores are so clean and clear. I eat Little Baby's ice cream. It keeps me young. It keeps me light on my feet. I spring from activity to activity. I love my job. I love my life. When you eat Little Baby's ice cream, you'll wink and nod and hug and high-five each other with great enthusiasm. This is a special time. Little Baby's ice cream. Ice cream is a feeling.
Creative for creative's sake doesn't sell product. We'll be right back with Pam Fletcher, Olympic skier, right after these messages.
Pele, New Hampshire Center for Laser and Medical Aesthetics. Our state-of-the-art laser and light-based treatments, beauty solutions using injectables such as Botox and dermal fillers, and aesthetic treatments to enhance your skin and maintain a healthy, glowing complexion are now here in Manchester, New Hampshire. Are you ready for flawless skin? Then call our medical professionals at Pele, New Hampshire Center for Laser and Medical Aesthetics, 603-627-7000.
Welcome back. We're here with Pam Fletcher, who's an Olympian. She also is the marketing director at Neshoba Valley Ski Area. And you've done so many things. You've been a television commentator all over the world. And I'm pretty impressed. How are you?
I'm great. It's nice to be here.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Well, I've known about Neshoba Valley for some time. I, of course, have heard you on the radio and seen some TV ads over the years, and had never been here. And so I went on your website and I learned a little bit about the fact that it was your dad, right, who started this business?
He did back in '64. They opened. He bought the land in '63 from a farmer. And it was, just a few, not many acres at all, a couple of rope tows. And the first season that we were open in '64, we were only open 14 days.
I saw that. Well, you made a lot of money that year, right?
Well, skiing is a tough business because when you're in the industry, you have to rely on the weather even to make snow. So we were fortunate back then to have a few good winters and things got rolling. But it was back then, it was all hands on deck, hand packing the snow. We didn't really have the grooming equipment. We got into some snowmaking right away. My father realized the value of having snowmaking equipment.
I would think because of your location near Boston, you get a big crowd to draw from, but you're not getting the snow that the mountain people are getting, so snowmaking is a very important part of your business, I'm sure.
Oh, it's a vital part of our business. Because we're also so close to the ocean, the humidity can really play around with temperature changes, and we've invested a lot of our resources in our snowmaking and grooming equipment.
Looks like, as I look around, it looks like you've got all the hills covered. Is that true?
Well, we try. We have 100% snowmaking on our skiing, snowboarding surfaces and our tubing park. And without it, we wouldn't be able to stay in business. But it's even a bit more than that. We get a lot of feedback from our customer that says, many times that they think that we have some of the best conditions in New England. And I think it's because we have so much equipment in such a small, compact surface. I mean, we're only 90 skiable, snowboardable acres and then another 50 or 60 out in tubing. And so when you put all that massive amount of equipment, you fire up all those guns, you can produce so much more snow and cover the surfaces so much more evenly.
When you come here, what are the things you can do?
Well, we have New England's largest tubing park right now with up to 17, 18 lanes. So in addition to the tubing, we have a great terrain park. Neshoba Parks is probably one of the nicest terrain parks around in terms of the fact that our designer, Keith Kreischer, he is very, very keen on mixing things up.
In addition to this, you have a fabulous restaurant. I walked in here and it's really much more upscale than you'd find at a regular ski area.
Well, a lot of restaurants in ski areas are more cafeteria style. Right. They might have a nice eatery.
It's called the Outlook, right?
Yes, the Outlook Restaurant and Lounge is a fine dining establishment, and it's open most of the year. So we also do things like weddings, and we cater corporate events, and all through the actual season itself.
So you're a year-round destination resort.
We seem to think so. I mean, probably the biggest thing for us is our proximity to Boston. We're only 20 miles outside of Boston, and all that suburban area around there, we have hundreds and hundreds of kids and skiers, snowboarders alike that come to our facility mostly for the winter. I mean, our winter business is 60 to 70% of our business in terms of what we do in a season. All these other supplemental businesses have been helpful enough for us to be able to stay open year-round, which is really important.
I'd like to turn the conversation over to you because you're a fascinating woman. You've done so much in your life. I mean, how many people can say they've been an Olympian? I mean, that's an amazing thing. Tell me a little bit about your story. And you did have a tragic accident where you hurt yourself or was hurt just before you were about to compete. Is that true?
Yeah, about 45 minutes before the start of the race of my life, a course worker ran into me and broke my leg, which was a bummer. But you have to pick yourself up and kind of be grateful for the fact that you made the team in the first place. I went back the next year and competed in the World Championships in Vail in 1989, and then I had been on the team for almost 10 years and decided I would rather try something else. So I got into television.
and you traveled the world
I
being
did.
a television commentator for skiing.
Yes.
Why don't you still do that? Obviously.
Well, I did it for a long time. You're so sweet, but I did it for almost 20 years. The thing that I most like about being a part of this family business is putting the smiles. You know, as a business, we create fun here at Neshoba. You know, there are smiles when kids learn a new skill in a lesson program, and when a young child or a young adult takes a turn for the first time in the terrain park, and really give them a sense of accomplishment when they've actually achieved something here on such a little hill.
You know, it's interesting that you said that, because I do a lot of brand strategy work, and I constantly say to my clients, what business are you really in? And if I was to talk to you, I'd say, if you think you're in the skiing business, then you probably got a lot of competition all over the place. But you're saying you're in the fun business. You're in the business of creating memories and fun, and that's good that you're thinking
and family.
And family.
Yeah, family is huge for us here.
That's excellent. If people watching my show wanted to learn more about you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, we have many ways that you can learn about us. We are all over social media. Neshoba Valley Ski Area is. You can find us at skineshoba.com. We have a fabulous website that also has offshoots to find all of our other businesses.
This has been fun talking to you. Pam, thank you very much for being on the show.
Well, I'm hoping to get you out on the slopes with me.
Well, I'm going to have to bring my walker with me.
No.
I think, actually, I think that you do such a great job, and you should take a look at your camera right there, because you're a pro, and tell them.
We'll be right back with more Brandworth TV right after this.
At Hampstead Hospital, we are committed to providing our patients and families effective treatment in a caring environment. Our highly skilled and experienced staff assesses patients' unique treatment needs. We are dedicated to listening to patients and their families. Our programs include child, adolescent, and adult psychiatric services, drug and alcohol treatment, and programs for developmental disorders. Learn more by visiting hampsteadhospital.com.
What does it take to have extraordinary advertising? It takes creativity. It takes experience. It takes empathy. It takes vision. It takes imagination. It takes a God-given sense of knowing the difference between what's good and what's great, and never settling for good. It takes innovation, but most of all, it takes courage. Tracy Communications, creating engaging, branded, award-winning content for all types of media. TracyCommunications.com.
Have you been wondering what's hot and what's not in advertising, marketing, and public relations? With the news you can use, here's Kevin Tracy.
Fox has sold out its inventory for ads for the 2014 Super Bowl. According to media buyers, advertisers are paying more than $4 million a spot. Here's a list of some of the big spenders. Anheuser-Busch InBev, Butterfinger, Cheerios, for the first time since 1996, Chevrolet, Doritos, and as usual, the entries are from regular people from all over the world, GoDaddy, Hyundai, Intuit, Jaguar, Kia, Mars, Oikos, PepsiCo, and Wonderful Pistachios. Most of the creative for these spots is being kept under wraps. I'll let you know as soon as I find out. At the very least, I will have a post-Super Bowl show with my favorites and my not-so-favorites. Ad Age Creative Pick of the Day is Pop Secret's mobile game called Poptopia. It has an add-on that's called Pop Dongle that makes your iPhone smell like popcorn. Pop Dongle is a mobile phone attachment that emits a sweet and salty smell of popcorn as you play the brand's mobile game. Poptopia is available for iPhone and iTouch. Every time you swipe the butter inside the game, which asks players to pop kernels, the dongle will emit a spritz of popcorn scent. They do it by plugging into the audio jack so that the game emits a certain frequency, signaling it to go ahead and spread the smell. Ford celebrates the 50th anniversary of the iconic Ford Mustang. I remember my twin brother had one back in the late 60s, and it was really cool. Well, Ford unveiled the long-awaited 2015 at events in 6 cities across 4 continents, according to Ad Age. It was also unveiled on Good Morning America, and it had people oohing and ahhing all over the new car. Can you believe that Burger King in Norway is giving away Big Macs? Well, according to Ad Age, the Norwegian arm of Burger King attempted to find out who its true fans were on Facebook. So BK offered all fans a Big Mac from McDonald's to go away. Ever wonder how many of your fans are real fans? While DIS Creative developed a new Facebook page only for truly loyal fans of Burger King, and at the same time offered all of its fans a Big Mac. If you wanted a Big Mac, you had to agree not to join the new Facebook page, and then Burger King would send you a voucher for a Big Mac plus a goodbye letter. BK lost 30,000 followers and gained 8,000 true blue friends. Why would any company give up 30,000 fans? Regardless of how loyal they really were, these fans must have had some interest in BK to begin with, so why test them? It's like cheating on your significant other to see how loyal they really are. Even if you love Burger King, who doesn't want free stuff? Before we go to our next guest, in my search for interesting videos, which I do constantly, I found this infomercial for Orapup. Believe it or not, it's a tongue cleaner for dogs, and it claims to cure bad breath in dogs. Actually, it's not a bad idea. Check this out.
Dogs are adorable, but they lick everything. That's why we invented Orapup, the solution that helps cure dog breath in less than a minute.
Dog bad breath is one of the major concerns of dog owners.
All we can really recommend is to brush their teeth. People don't do it because their dogs don't like it.
Even when they let you brush their teeth, it won't solve the problem. Studies show that 90% of bad breath in humans comes from the tongue.
I'm Dr. Bob. 10 years ago, I invented OraBrush, a tongue cleaner that helps cure bad breath. After people started using the OraBrush for themselves, they requested that we create an OraBrush for their dog.
OraBrush, you need to make one for dogs now. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
How do you get a dog to let you clean its tongue? You don't. You let the dog do it.
Having a system where the dog will clean its own tongue is very beneficial to both the owner and to the dog.
If you want to get rid of your dog's skag breath, go to orapup.com. We'll be right back with author, columnist, television host, PR pro, and all-around good guy John Clayton right after these messages.
I'm in the mood for conversation. I'm in the mood for dinner and friends. A little laughter and libation. Relaxation, celebration.
Are you in the mood for amazing Italian food in a beautifully restored historic place? In the mood for a banquet for 200? In the mood for happy hour, Monday to Friday, 4 to 6? Then you're in the mood for Fratello's.
Yeah, I'm in the mood for Fratello's.
Welcome back to the show. This is the first time I've ever had a chance to interview a real celebrity. His name is John Clayton. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks, Kevin.
Boy, you have done so much, but you're famous for your New Hampshire Union Leader features that you did every week.
Mm-hmm. It was called In the City, a newspaper column which allowed me to write about anything in Manchester that piqued my interest. After a couple of years, I didn't get in enough trouble, so they thought, let's give them a little more rein. So it expanded to a second column a week, which allowed me to go anywhere in New Hampshire.
It's interesting because I remember back in the day that everybody would look to see if their name was there. And if you got your name, by the way, I got my name in there once, you know, all of a sudden you figure, well, I made it because John Clayton just put my name in his column.
It was something that came about quite accidentally. I knew in the beginning I wanted to make the column inclusive. Newspapers by their nature tend to be exclusive. And by that I mean you tend to write about the mayor and the selectmen and the aldermen and the usual suspects. And a shameless way to get people to read the column was the notion that their name might be in it. It came about by accident, but apparently there was some panache attached to it. So over time, think about it like a phone book. What's the first thing you do when you get the phone book? You open it and make sure your name's in there.
Yeah.
I wanted people
Do they still have phone books anymore?
Yeah, I've heard about that. I have door stops that I use them for.
So in addition to the column, you also, for 6 years, you hosted a television show on public TV in New Hampshire called Crossroads, New Hampshire Crossroads.
New Hampshire Crossroads, yeah. Again, came about by accident. My good friend Fritz Weatherby decided he was getting tired of that gig and resigned in August. And suddenly they needed a host. So they asked me if I'd take over. And 6 years and 2 Emmy Awards
I
later.
know. I was reading about you, and I said you won 2 Emmys. I'm going, boy, that would be a really big deal for me if I ever got to do that.
The big deal for me is that when I got the Emmy certificate, they spelled New Hampshire wrong. They transposed the letters, and I like to tease my TV friends that, that's what happens when you go from newspapers to television.
So in addition to that, you're an author. You've written 7 books. And what is the nature of these books?
Well, like most newspaper columnists, I shamelessly decided to put together an anthology. The beauty of that being is you do the work once and you get paid twice. The first book was phenomenally successful. I had no idea whether I'd be driving around with them in the trunk of my car for 20 years. But within 6 weeks of it having been published, I was sold out.
Now, with all of these things in, I have to just read a list here of some of the accolades here. That you're in the Manchester Boys and Girls Club Hall of Fame.
I know that's.
By the way, I spent a lot of time with them. I've done a lot of support for them. And you're also Catholic War Veterans of America National Media Americanism Award. Mm-hmm. And Public Radio's Most Influential People in New Hampshire.
With people like Crystal McAuliffe, and Dean Kamen, and David Souter. They picked 25 of us they felt had a disproportionate impact on life in New Hampshire in that time frame. So it's really humbling to be in company of those people.
So you've been through all these different stages of your life doing these different things. What was your favorite?
Oh, the newspaper columnist was the best because I had wanted to be a journalist when I was even in grade school. I knew I wanted to be a writer. And writing for newspapers allows you to do so every day, as opposed to being a novelist and slaving away in anonymity somewhere, the starving artist who I did not want to be. I was able to work at my craft every day. It allowed me to explore this place I love so much, engage with some incredibly less known people who deserve the spotlight, and I got to share that with them.
How'd you get that first job writing for a newspaper? Was it always the Union Leader? Or
No, I had worked in college. I'd worked at the Derry News, at the Patriot Ledger in Quincy, Mass. But I got away from it because there weren't many newspaper jobs when I got out of college. Mm-hmm. I was at New Hampshire College, now Southern New Hampshire University, and was doing a lot of writing for the Union Leader. And one day Joe McQuaid said, "How come you're not working for us?" And I said, "Nobody asked."
Wow.
He asked.
Let's say, what's the weirdest thing that ever happened to you, either on TV or through your notoriety in the Union Leader?
Well, things just, this notion of being a celebrity is something I had never even considered. I was asked to be the Grand Marshal for the Santa Fun Parade one year, which I did in a Hawaiian shirt because that's kind of a trademark of mine.
Yeah, in television, what was your most memorable TV show that you did?
Well, we did a program with New Hampshire Public Television called New Hampshire Remembered, and one of the segments was about a famous group of swimmers from Manchester called the Amoskeag Brownies. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of that for me is that my grandfather, Ted Leaf, was one of the Brownies. They used to swim at the Amoskeag Ledge at an abandoned quarry here in Manchester, and we had this fabulous picture of my grandfather that appeared in a German newspaper in 1924 of him diving from a platform atop a tree atop the ledge at the Amoskeag, about 129 feet.
Does that place still exist?
No, it's been filled in. It became a public health hazard, so they filled in, so it's not there. But it's celebrated in fame and fortune, and through my friend Fritz Weatherby, we actually got footage, newsreel footage of the Brownies Winter Carnival in 1929. So I'm sitting perched on the edge of the ledge where my grandfather used to dive. I'm not big on heights, and I'm being filmed talking about their exploits. So that was an incredible opportunity, and we can thank Ted Turner and his folks for letting us borrow that footage.
If you had to do it all over again, would you change it?
I would love to tell you this was a carefully plotted course. Random chance has played a factor in my career so many times I can't even begin to count. But what a ride.
Now, what would you give for advice to somebody who's younger and they don't even have to be younger, somebody who's trying to get into the business of communication? Is there some kind of words of wisdom? And you can go into the 3 categories, whether it's newspaper or whether it's broadcasting or whether it's public relations or communications.
The answer is the same regardless, is have as many tools on your belt as possible. Don't put out of other the likelihood that you'll do television, because you might. I did not plan on it. It was put in my lap and I embraced it. The same thing with public speaking. Don't be afraid to practice and get better at it. All of those components of communication will one day be a tool or weapon in your arsenal, if you will, in terms of finding a job. So be open to new opportunities because they open doors in other ways you don't envision.
I appreciate you taking time to be with me today. I guarantee I'm going to run into you and your wife, Colleen, probably at one of the favorite watering holes that I have.
Adult beverages will be involved.
Yeah,
yes.
adult beverages, yeah. In fact, I think it's getting around, I think it's after 5. I think maybe I need to go and take you for a drink somewhere.
This is your round.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Hey,
thank
Kevin,
you very
thank
much.
you.
We're going to be right back after these messages.
We take earth and fire and water and sky and a little bit of sunshine too. We put the staff of life with savory surprise and make it flat out good for you. We make fun food nutritious, American flatbread, and good food delicious, American flatbread, honestly delicious, American flatbread.
Go to afbcoupons.com for $2 off.
Here's Kevin with this week's Guerrilla Marketing Tips.
This week's guerrilla marketing tip is about the 10 commandments of marketing to women. Women account for 85% of all consumer purchases, including everything from autos to healthcare. American women spend about $5 trillion annually, over half of the U.S. GDP. Here they are. Thou shalt make her comfortable. Thou shalt build her trust. Thou shalt respect her. Thou shalt learn about her decision process. Thou shalt aid in her discovery. Thou shalt offer her real, relevant solutions. Thou shalt be authentic. Thou shalt be consistent. Thou shalt facilitate social connections. And number 10, thou shalt give her reasons to spread the word. We'll be right back after these messages.
What does it take to have extraordinary advertising? It takes creativity. It takes experience. It takes empathy. It takes vision. It takes imagination. It takes a God-given sense of knowing the difference between what's good and what's great, and never settling for good. It takes innovation, but most of all, it takes courage. Tracy Communications, creating engaging, branded, award-winning content for all types of media. TracyCommunications.com.
And now back to our host, Kevin Tracy.
That does it for this week's Brandworth TV. We hope that you found something in today's show that'll help you build your brand. Having you involved is important to us. So if you have an idea, a guest, a topic, or a comment for the show, please let us know by visiting our website, brandworth.tv. Tweet us at BrandworthTV or visit us on Facebook. I'm Kevin Tracy. Thanks for watching, and please enjoy the holiday season, and I'll see you next week.